Underground cable fault detector. Abstract: in the city regions, the electric cable runs in undergrounds rather than overhead line. Whenever the fault happens in underground cable, it's far tough to locate the precise area of the fault for method of repairing that particular cable. The proposed gadget unearths the precise area of the fault. The simple concept at the back of the operating of this project is Ohm's law. At the feeder end, while a DC voltage is applied primarily based totally at the area of fault withinside the cable, the phi of current additionally changes. So in case of a brief circuit fault like LG or LL fault, the extradein voltage phi measured throughout their resistor is then fed to the inconstructed ADCof the Arduino. This phi is processed with theaid of using the Arduino, and the fault is calculated in phrases of distance from the bottomstation. This phi is dispatched to the LCD interface to the Arduino board, and it shows actual area of the fault from the bottomstation in kilometers for all of the three phases. This fault introduction is made with the aid of using the set of switches. Project is organized with a fixed of resistors which represent the duration of the cable. At each recognized kilometer, fault switches are located to set off faults manually. Finally, the fault distance may be decided. Keyword: fault, cable, ground, Arduino, circuit. Introduction. An package of electrical conductors used for sporting electricity is known as a cable. Underground cables used in large part in city vicinity rather than overhead strains. We can't effortlessly pick out the faults withinside the underground cables. This undertaking offers with Arduino microcontroller, buzzer, and LCD. This proposes substantially reduces the time and operates effectively. The underground cabling system is a not unusual place exercise observed in lots of city regions. Many time faults arise because of creation works and different reasons. At that point it's far tough to dig out cable because of now no longer knowing the precise area of the cable fault. No matter what fault happens, the voltage at the cable will extrade all at once with every fault. This voltage change withinside the collection resistance is used to locate a fault. Power transmission may be completed in each overhead in addition to in underground cables. But not like underground cables, the overhead cables have the downside of being effortlessly at risk of the outcomes of rainfall, snow, thunder, lightning, etc. This calls for cables with reliability, increased safety, ruggedness, and extra service. So underground cables are favored in lots of regions, particularly in city locations. When it is simple to locate and accurate the faults in overhead line with the aid of using mere observation, it isn't always viable to accomplish that in an underground cable. As they are buried deep withinside the soil, it isn't always clean to locate the abnormalities in them. Even while a fault is determined to be gifties, far very tough to locate the precise area of the fault. This ends in digging of the whole vicinity to locate and accurate the fault, which in flip reasons wastage of cash and manpower. So it's far vital to understand the precise area of faults withinside the underground cables. Whatever the fault is, the voltage of the cable has the tendency to extrade unexpectedly on every occasion a fault happens. We employ this voltage extrade throughout the collection resistors to locate the fault. Literature survey. M. Amarnath, B. Ganesh Ram, Mr. V. Chandrasekaran, Mr. G. Mohan Ram, IoT based on underground cable fault identification using Arduino in April 2021. With the development and advancement in technology, things changes. As technology helps us to understand its importance, like in urban areas, the electricity runs underground through electrical cable instead of typical overhead lines, which occupies less space and is considered as the most effective and efficient way of transmission. But the problem arises when a fault occurs in the underground cable and is also difficult to detect the exact location of the fault during the process of repairing that particular cable, and the methods in existence till now follow some algorithm in order to identify the location of the fault. We use IoT knowledge that allows the doyens to observe and check faults over internet. The edifice advert fault with the help of likely divider network laid across the cable. Fault here fast repair to revive back the power system. Higher initial cost and insulation problems at high voltages. Roshan Kumar Bhagat, Shravan Sutar, Chandan Kumar, Sunil Kumar Meena, underground cable fault detector using Arduino and GSM modules in July 2020. The main goal of this project is to identify faults and show these faults in LCD and mobile using Arduino and GSM, which is occurring in underground cable. On the feeder side, when a direct current voltage is applied, the current estimates are further changed to address the problem areas of the cable. Therefore, in the event of a short circuit problem, such as an LG or LL problem, an ADC made by Arduino will adjust the estimated rated voltage through a resistor. This value is prepared by Arduino, and the shortage is well determined by the base station. This value is transmitted to the LCD connected to the Arduino board and displays the exact area several kilometers away from all base stations in 3 phases. The task consists of many resistors that communicate the length of the cable. Fault switches induced in every. This strategy works for all kinds of links from 1 kilometer to 4 kilometers. In this method, problems up to 4 kilometers can be identified. When a fault switch operated the condition, the phase associated with that particular switch is considered a fault phase. Padmanabhan. K. Sanjana Sharon. G. Sudarini. N. Vishnuvardhani. K. Detection of underground cable fault. Using Arduino in March 2017. This paper proposes fault location model for underground power cable using microcontroller. The aim of this project is to determine the distance of underground cable fault from base station in kilometers. This project uses the simple concept of Ohm's law. When any fault like short circuit occurs, voltage drop will vary depending on the length of fault in cable since the current varies. A set of resistors are therefore used to represent the cable, and a DC voltage is fed at one end, and the fault is detected by detecting the change in voltage using an analog to voltage converter, and a microcontroller is used to make the necessary calculations so that the fault distance is displayed on the LCD display. Problem statement. To develop a system that detect the location of fault in underground cable lines from base station. Objectives: to review and classify faults in underground cables. To design and construct an less costly underground cable fault detector. Components. Power supply. The strength deliver circuit includes step-down transformer that's 230V step right all the way down to 12V. In the circuit 4 diodes are used to shape bridge rectifier, which provides pulsating C voltage, after which fed to capacitor clear out to the output voltage from rectifier is fed to clear out to dispose of any AC additives skipped even after rectification. The filtered DC voltage is given to regulator to provide 12V steady DC voltage. Rectifier. The output from the transformer is fed to the rectifier. It converts AC into pulsating DC. The rectifier can be a half-of wave or a complete wave rectifier. In this undertaking, a bridge rectifier is used due to its deserves-like right stability. The circuit has 4 diodes related to shape a bridge. A rectifier is an electrical tool that converts alternating present-day, AC, which periodically reverses direction, to direct present-day, DC, which flows in best one direction. The method is referred to as rectification. Rectifiers have many makes use of, however are frequently determined serving as additives of DC materials and high-voltage direct present-day strength transmission systems. Rectification can also additionally serve in roles aside from to generate direct present-day to be used as a supply of strength. LCD display. Liquid crystal display are interfacing to microcontroller 8051. Most commonly LCD used are 16:2 and 22 display. In 16*2 display means 16 represents column and 2 represents rows. LCDs are available to display arbitrary images or fixed images with low information content, which can be displayed or hidden, such as preset words, digits, and 7-segment displays in a digital clock. They use the same basic technology, except that arbitrary images are made up of a large number of small pixels, while other displays have larger elements. Voltage regulator. A voltage regulator is an electrical regulator designed to mechanically preserve a steady voltage level. In this undertaking, strength deliver of 5V and 12V are required. In order to gain those voltage levels, 7805 and 7812 voltage regulators are to be used. The first variety 78 represents advantageous deliver and the numbers 0, 5, 12 constitute the specified output voltage levels. The L78XX collection of 3-terminal advantageous regulators is to be had. Arduino. Arduino is an open supply platform used for constructing electronics projects. Arduino includes each a bodily programmable circuit board, frequently known as a microcontroller, and a bit of software, or IDE, integrated development environment, that runs in your laptop, used to jot down and add laptop code to the bodily board. The Arduino platform has grown to be pretty famous with humans simply beginning out with electronics, and for right reason. Unlike maximum preceding programmable circuit boards, the Arduino does now no longer want a separate piece of hardware, known as a programmer, which will load new code onto the board. You could absolutely use a USB cable. Additionally, the Arduino IDE makes use of a simplified model of C++, making it simpler to learn how to program. Finally, Arduino gives a fashionable shape element that breaks out the capabilities of microcontroller right into an extra on-hand package. Relay. Relay is sensing tool which senses the fault and sends a experience sign to circuit breaker to isolate the defective segment. A relay is an automated tool by which an electrical circuit is not directly managed and is ruled with the aid of using extrada withinside the equal or some other electric circuit. There are numerous forms of relay: numerical relay, static relay, and electromagnetic relay. Relay are housed in panel withinside the manage room. Here 3 mini-strength relay are used every for one of the 3 levels. The relays periodically test the 3 ohms and ship the sign to the Arduino controller. The score of every of the relays is set 12V. Relay driver IC. Driver circuit is used to reinforce or extend indicators from microcontrollers to manipulate strength switches in semiconductor devices. Driver circuits take capabilities that encompass keeping apart the managed circuit and the strength circuit, detecting malfunctions, storing and reporting screw-ups to the managed gadget, serving as a precaution in opposition to failure reading sensor indicators and growing auxiliary voltages. In this undertaking, ULN2003 is used because the relay motive force circuit. It is an integrated circuit which capabilities because the relay motive force and boosts up the deliver going to the relay circuit and accordingly degree the open circuit fault. The above fig shows output of underground cable fault detection. When the switch is closed in any wire, R, Y, B, then which wire faulty is detected and display on LCD in km. That is above fig 5 show R 5 km, Y 4 km, B 2 km. Advantages: less maintenance. It has better efficiency. Less fault arise in underground cable. This technique is relevant to all forms of cable starting from 1 km to 5 km. It can locate different forms of cable fault inclusive of cable fault, cable cuts. Conclusion. Thus the project on underground cable fault detection, the use of Arduino became complete and the gap of the fault from the bottom station in kilometers became displayed for the 3-person levels R, Y, and B circuit may be examined with exclusive resistor values. In this project faults as much as a distance of 5 kilometers may be detected. When the fault switches are operated to fault circumstance, then the segment similar to that unique transfer is taken into consideration because the defective segment. So the defective segment can effortlessly be located. Future scope. In this project we detect the precise area of cable fault withinside the underground cable from feeder lead to km with the aid of using theaid of Arduino. In future, this undertaking may be carried out to calculate the impedance with the aid of using the use of a capacitor in an AC.